cool, let's get into it. 5-minute time frame only and NASDAQ only for a sec, all right? So what would we do on a day like this? 5 minutes before, all right? So we're on the charts. We got to come on the charts at 1/4 past, so I mark up my stuff like this. All right, cool. So we come on the charts, we do some shit like this, right? We're just looking for support and resistance, get that wick involved. Okay, so that's a nice area there. And then we do the same underneath. Okay, boom. And then we do this. Easy stuff. This is literally our setups. So then we put our breakout line on the bodies. A lot of people say to me, why don't you put them on the candle wicks, bro? That's why. Because believe it or not, all right, it's going to be structure if you go to the 1 minute time frame. Look, oh, actually, it isn't. It's just a wick. But it doesn't matter. I learned this shit from fucking FX Alex G. You can say what you want about him, but he taught me about market structure and using candle bodies instead of candle wicks. And I've always done that. I've always done that. Because a wick is not really valid as a higher high, in my opinion. Because yeah, it got there. That was the highest point that it got to. Then it came back and closed there. So that's the higher high. Okay? The candle body there for me is the higher high. That's the higher low. That's just how it is for me anyway. You can debate me on that one if you want, but that's just how I see it, right? This is how I would mark it up, right? This is just how I would mark it up. I'd be looking for the breakout. So what happens when we get a pre-break like this, all right? Well, that's technically broken through now. And we've still got 10 minutes until the open. So you move the breakout line up. Now, I wouldn't move it there right now. I'd move it there, you know, because there's still a little bit of breathing room. Next candle comes in. Super fucking close. What do we do now? You can go to the 1 minute time frame. Nah, nothing there for it. Or you can go over and look for your next breakout. So this is a really tricky one because this would be the next level to get broken. I don't want to wait until that gets broken. This is where it gets tricky now. So you've got a few things you can do. You can move it to the next key level. So if it breaks through this key level over there, nice round psychological number, 130. For me, that'd be like the next clean level, right? So 26, 130. I don't know why it's lined like that. That's what I would do anyway, personally. And then I put this one there. So that's how I would probably approach it. You could be safe and go put it up there, but at the same time, the chances of it coming up wicking and then dropping is high. So I'm trying to get a nice, decent entry. So I'll just say 130. Yeah, for me, it'd be 130. That's how I'm going to play it. Okay, 25 pips is what I'm going to use now consistently. And I'm going to go for 1 to 2s. Okay, so 1 to 2s. Boom. All right, so let's see how this would have played out. All right, boom, we enter. We enter. Why is this okay? Because that's definitely a 1-to-1. Oh no, it's not a 1-to-1, my bad. Okay, so it's not a 1-to-1. First one we could either say was a break even, or because it didn't technically get to a 1-to-1, it would have been a loss probably for me, because I like to see 1-to-1 at least. That's an L right there. What do we do now? We either wait for price to come down and then back up, or we just get into the downside, okay? Boom, so it's a straight winner. I don't care, that's a winner. We lost the first position. No matter how you want to look at it, we absolutely smashed the next one. And this put on the liquidity indicator as well and see if it was any 4-hour liquidity for me at the time. I don't think there was, you know. Nah, it wasn't. But the first TP though is this. So if you really wanted to, you could go, okay, the support's down there and the first liquidity level is down there, okay? So boom, there it is, absolutely smashed. So no matter how you want to look at that, it smashed our 1 to 2, so I'm going to put that as a dub, all right? Boom, same shit every day. Support, resistance, you could even put one there if you want. You could even do this if you really wanted to. What you got to drill into your head, though, is these boxes, these areas, are just areas. These are not breakout levels. So the way Mamba does is different to me. Mamba will get in if price breaks through like this or breaks through this. I like to see the line. This is where I'm different. I like the line. That's my go. If it gets stepped over, that's my go ahead, right? Also, I like to put the entry a little bit over the line. So if my breakout line's going to be there for a minute, because that's the most recent structure, then, and this one's the most recent structure, right? Then I'm going to put my entries like a little bit, like a few pips over the breakout line, not directly on it. I want to see it get stepped over, and then I'm in straight up. So right now, this is what I'm looking at. 5 minutes until the open. So why can't I put it there? You could put it there if you wanted to, but it's so close. It's just asking to be stopped out. So just bump it up a little bit. Maybe to this one, maybe to this one. I'm going to put it on this one. All right. You can even get fancy if you want, and you can start looking for shit like trend lines, all of that fancy stuff. But right now, I'm literally just sticking to the basics. So let's just stick to the basics. Do I like it there or there? I'm putting it there. I'm putting it there. Only reason I'm putting it there as well is because it's more of a curve. This is actually more of a curve instead of just this little thing there, right? So boom, 25 pip stop again. And as soon as it pops over, I'm going in with my same normal amount of lots, and I'm winning or I'm losing. That's how it is, all right? So 1 to 2s we want to go for minimum. Also, just know as well, when you hit a 1-to-1, you know, say you do this, mark up your ruler, get your line. When you hit a 1-to-1, you can move the break even, and you can close half the position if you want to, okay? So let's get the liquidity indicator up. All right, so that's definitely a loss, I'd say. Yeah, and there was nowhere else I could really put my breakout line apart from this, so this one's gonna have to count as a loss. That wasn't a 1-to-1. It was so close though. I mean, I'm still counting it as a loss, right? I'm counting that as a loss. I have to be honest myself. All right, this is peak. This is peak. All right, so that's another loss. That is another loss. Obviously because it comes up, we enter, it comes down, it stops us out, and then it booms. It's a fucking loss. So I got to mark that down as 2 losses now, even though that's clean, because I wouldn't have traded 3 times. I would have took those 2 losses. So I'm marking that down as 2 losses. All right, 2. And I know that they're 1-to-1 risk to roll ratio, so that's a 1-to-2 loss. Okay, boom. Let's move on. Same shit again. All rinse and repeat. Just a rinse and repeat strategy, right? So let's just stick to the fucking plan. And we're just targeting 1-to-2s, 25 pip stops, even though they look like nothing. And obviously, I will target those 4-hour liquidity levels. So even though I'm saying 1-to-2s, right, I genuinely, if price just pushes and I see that there's a lot of volume and it's heading towards them liquidity levels, I'll grab them. I will stay in it for those 4-hour liquidity levels to get swept out, and the 1-hour ones. But the 4-hour ones are my favorite, right? Another loss, boy. Three losses in a row. Okay, in November, 3 losses in a row. Straight W. Okay, whatever. So that was once again actually really nice. Did it take the 4-hour liquidity? Yeah, it took the 4-hour liquidity. Boom. So that was a 1-to-3 actually. And if you've been trading with me long enough now, you would know that I would 100%, with no doubt in my mind, go and get that 4-hour liquidity level. So I'm calling that a 1-to-3. I'm putting that in the wins, and I'm calling it a 1-to-3, all right? Because there's no chance that I would have got out 1-to-2 for that. I promise you. Because of the 4-hour liquidity level was there. So another bad first entry. Second one was amazing. 25 pip stops. Let's keep it going. Boom. That's valid. One up above it. That's valid. All this shit's valid. The moves really happened though already, kind of thing. So we got to do what we got to do, right? So when we come to charts like this, what can we do? We just have to stick to the script, man. We have to stick to the job. So I can put a breakout there, and I can pull one down there. There's nowhere else that I can pull one right now. 5 minutes until the open. So 25 pip stop, another loss. 1 loss, fake out, comes back down. We re-enter. That's a 1-to-1 minimum. I said that. It's like a 1.5. Say that we did break even. So as a loss, a break even. All we can do is wait for structure to be made like that. That is technically 1 minute structure. And on a 5 minute 2 is a little pullback. So if you really want to go there, we could have won this trade. We actually could have. So let's just say we were using 25 pip stops again and going for a 1-to-2. Let's just say that. Right, 1-to-2. We know that it does anyway. So we could have won that. Actually, we could have won now, and it could have been a monster. It depends on the day. It's hard to do back testing. You just got to like think about it logically and be like, would I have done that? Sorry, the entry would have been there as well. It would have been even better than the 1 minute entry. So you see that pullback, you just put your line there. Okay, let's get back to business. Okay, so 25 pips stop. Fucking hell. When it does go in your favor and it doesn't pull back and tweak, you do be catching them 1-to-5s. That's why it's important to let trades play out. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's say we was going for that 4-hour liquidity, because that's what I would be going for. Oh, nah. Would have closed. As soon as it pulled back like that, I would have been out, mates, seeing it retrace up like this. So we hit our 1-to-2 easily. I mean, it just kept pushing. It kept pushing. When it's one candle like that, I'm going to fucking take it for what it got, man. And I'm going to go for this liquidity. So if anything, minimum, when it started retracing, I would have hit a 1-to-3. Yeah, I would have hit a 1-to-3, mates. Even if I closed there, that would have been a 1-to-3. So let's be fair with it, man. That's a straight up clean win. 1-to-3. Let's log that. All right, 1-to-3. Let's keep it moving. Very, very nasty looking. Look at that shit. But I feel like this month's been a fucking nightmare. But I'm not going to judge it too quick, because I've done a video like this not long ago about August. And even though it was a nightmare, it still came out on top. Let's just stick to the breakout lines. Nothing fancy now, remember. This is just straight up breakout lines. So 5 minutes before the open. So we always go for that liquidity if it's there. This one's way too close, so we're not going to put TP there. We're going to get in on the break, 25 pip stop, and we're going to go for a 1-to-2. Okay, so 1-to-2 open. All right, debatable. I mean, would we have got in there? Debatable, man. Knowing that there's this much like rejection from it, I'd probably say we would have wanted to. Yeah, we would have waited a little bit for that. It's debatable. I hate that because it's not live, so we can't tell. But I'm not saying that we're getting in on that. That's not volume. Especially knowing that this is a strong-ass fucking support as well. Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's too wicky. You would definitely want to get in once price broke, let's say, this wick at least. This wick. Yeah, there's too much shit going on there. You can see his scatty behavior. So anyway, that's a win. That's an easy win. There's no 4-hour liquidity levels in sight. I mean, up there. But who the fuck's holding it for that? No one. So let's just say we hit our 1 to 2. We were happy. 1 to 2 there in 10 minutes. Okay, let's lock in. I can see beautiful trend lines and everything, but I'm just not getting technical with it. Trying my best to just keep it basic. 25 pip stop looks absolutely lovely. Nothing wrong with it. 4-hour liquidity there. That would be the target, but 1 to 2s is fine. Boom, let's get it. What are we doing? 1 to 2s. Awesome. Oh, let's analyze it. Let's analyze it. Loss straight away. Yeah, loss. Fucking loss. Okay, cool. We got fucked over. There's a wick there now. I'm moving my breakout line. My breakout line is going to have to be there. And I'm going to want to enter when it breaks above that wick. Same thing. 25 pip stop. That would be my next entry. What's the next candle? Nothing. Boom, we're in. We're out. Double loss. 2 losses. Get over it. Breakout line. 25 pip stop. 1 to 2. Or 4-hour liquidity, whatever. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Fuck the support and resistance and getting technical with it. Let's just put breakout lines. Same exact system. Boom. All right, cool. So that day was a fire one. And like I said, if we was holding for the 4-hour liquidity, this chunky level there, but it flew past anyway. Be a 1 to 3 that would. So I'm putting it down as a 1 to 3. Sometimes them days come, but if you don't hold them winners, your risk to reward ratio is going to be fucked on bad months. Let's move on. I'm not going to mess around with the support and resistances now, right? Breakout line there. Breakout line there. 25 pip stop. 1 to 2. This is where I think it's dangerous to be using 25 pip stops. I'm not going to lie, because the candles are so big. But fuck it. Stick to the system. Start of the candle. Finish of the candle. Higher the candle. Lower the candle. Here would have stopped us out. Motherfucker. I think it would have stopped us out, innit? Gotta look at it like that and think 1 minute time frame is going to show you. It came down on a 5 minute, it pulled back, 25 pip stop. If you're using a 25 pip stop, that's your first loss. And then it fucking does the job. Like, I'm counting that as a win anyway, because I take 2 trades. So, you know, it would have been, as soon as it done this, as soon as we seen this, I'd be putting my thing from down there to there. So that'd be the new entry. And if it didn't come back up and pop off, it would have kept dropping, and that's what I would have done. So second one was a win anyway. 1 to 2 minimum, but the candle closed strong, so I'm going to give it a 1 to 3 because the candle closed strong. So yeah, 1 loss and a 1 to 3. W 1 to 3. Cool. Let's move on. All right, so breakout lines. 1 there, 2 close, so we're gonna have to put it on these wicks because right now price is literally there. So put it on the wicks. Yeah, we can do this. This is valid. All right, so boom, 25 pip stop. The liquidity's right there, so you just target that. Makes sense. 25 pip stop, and then the 4-hour liquidity's there. Makes sense. Okay, so we was targeting this 4-hour liquidity. It clearly didn't get it. It's consistently hitting 1 to 2s when it wins, 1 to 3s, but say we went for our 1 to 2, fair enough. Now let's say that this was even a loser. This is why I know this trade was going to be a winning trade anyway. If that was a loser, the second one fucking wasn't. So no matter if it did come down on the open and then pull back and end up being a loser, the second breakout was definitely a winner. And it targets that 4-hour liquidity too. So whatever way you look at this, it was another winner. It was just another winner straight up. I'm going to give it a 1 to 3 even though it was a 1 to 7 because realistically holding for 1 to 7s, you know, it takes a lot. Not a lot of people got it in them to hold it for 1 to 7s, including myself half the time. I just want that money, you know what I mean? Boom. In situations like this, I hate it because there's no way to fucking put the breakout lines. So you could put one there or you could put one there. There is still structure though. Go to the 1 minute time frame. That shit's structure, right? So you put it there on them wicks there. Now the next thing, you could go to the left, look for another breakout line. Nope, nothing. So what are we doing? We're using the next round psychological key level, which is 24,900, right? 24,900. There's the breakout. Instant loss, but then an instant recovery. So loss 100%. That's a loss. 1.5, you're not letting that go back to a loss now. That's a break even, if anything, but it doesn't break even. It smashes. Now, was there 4-hour liquidity there? There wasn't 4-hour liquidity, but there was still liquidity there to target. So minimum, we would be going for that. What's that? A 1 to 3. Boom. Call it a 1 to 4 if you want it. That shit's sweet, but let's just say 1 to 3. Another winner, 1 to 3. Let's keep it moving. I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it there. Okay. Even that still looks sketch, but fuck it. Let's breathe it up. So 25 pip stop, top of the mountain, 25 pip stop. Look for some liquidity. 4-hour liquidity, nice. But remember, we're just going for 1 to 2s. Ah, fuck. Unless it pushes and is showing us, yo, I'm going for that 4-hour liquidity, then we can go for it. Oh, all right, it's a winner. No matter how you want to look at it, it's a winner. So boom, loss, straight up loss, 100%. Winner. So what did it get to? Give us a 1 to 2. There's no chance in hell that you're letting that come all the way back and draw down, all right? So when it gets that high, yeah, it came back and it closed, and it would have been a loss if you let it. But to be honest with you, that's a 1 to 2. I got to class that as a winner. Like, I could have recovered. I would have thought, okay, I lost the first one. Let's get me set myself a 1 to 2. It could have pulled back. You might not have fully cleared it, but I'm telling you now, there wasn't another loss involved. 1 to 2, mate. After a loss, you're only going for a 1 to 2. You're trying to recover and end in a little bit of profit. That's all you're trying to do. So just mark it down. Okay, that's the only other level I can put it as a breakout. 25 pip stop. 5 pip stop. Okay. It's hard to judge this because we wasn't there for it, but let's just say we're going off of limit orders. That's a loss. It's just a loss. That's a win. Okay, fucking hell. Wow. That's a monster of a win. But anyway, let's see if it was 4 hour liquidity there. There was. Could have been a 1 to 5, you know what I mean? We're targeting 4 hour liquidity at the end of the day. Let's just say though, you know, stick to what I was saying, 1 to 3s, whatever. We lost, we recovered twice. Do you know what I mean? So awesome. And I know a lot of you do hold, man. You hold even when I say I'm out. I know people hold sometimes and hit those 1 to 5s and shit. Alright, interesting. I just seen then exactly how that would have went. I probably would have put my breakout line there and been faked out. Yep, loss. Oh, loss. 2 losses, would have re-entered, would have been wicked out. No matter how I look at that, that's just ugly as fuck. And it was just straight up losses. 2 losses, man. Let's put it in. Not looking great. Alright, this is interesting. That's obviously a win. This would have been Monday, right? Yeah, Monday. Clean as fuck. Alright, so we caught this. This was a win, straight up. A 1 to 3, because I remember actually holding it until this one opened and it started pulling back a bit. So that's a 1 to 3. Beautiful. You can go watch that on Twitch. That's there for the replay. I'm only backtesting this month just so it can make me stay sane with the losses that I've had and shit, because it's like, is the strategy rubbing out, or is it just and you think weird things as a trader, so you've got to come and do this shit from time to time. But it makes me feel a little bit better to know if the markets was shit, it isn't just me moaning and complaining. Do you know what I'm saying? What the fuck are all these lines? But anyway, W 1 to 3. And the only reason I say sometimes 1 to 3 is why, like, oh, why are you switching between 1 to 2 and 1 to 3? Because I know when I take a 1 to the 2, and I know when I take a 1 to 3. I know when, I'm so confident now when I'm in a trade, if price is constantly pushing, I let that shit close and I go for actual take profits. So look, where was the take profits? Was there one? All right, yeah, 4 hour, 1 hour. But still, the candle was strong as fuck. There was no reason for me to close anyway. So that's how I know it. I can judge it by 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s. Yeah, that's London session, so we won't count those. New York. All right, I remember this one because it was yesterday and I didn't trade today, so we're back to where we should be. Right. Why did this end up being a loser? Because of this little rat. Look at it. This little rat of a fucking open. That's why it was a double loss. All right. It's just that way, man. Maybe my sniper entries were too snipery, but yeah, this should have been a straight W. It wasn't. It wasn't for me. A lot of people it was, but I got double wicked out. I've been trading like fuck. I've been on the London, pre-London, New York, trading all of it, trying to flip accounts, all that shit, right? But it don't matter. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying by the time I get to this trade, I can't even afford to like look for better entries because I'm trading 3 sessions, all right, with 1 account. I'm not going to be doing that no more. But that's what an account flip is. You're just trying to flip it, innit? You're trying to take trades and flip it fast. So flipped it, made 10k, lost 5k in the last 2 days from that account flip. So yeah. But I'm good. I'm going to just load up my New York account now for tomorrow. I'm loading up my pre-London and my London account for tomorrow. 10k in each, and I'm good to go. Let's get it. And I'm going to focus on separating my accounts again, all right? And prop firms and shit too. But yeah, let's look at the stats together. Let me just go over it. So let me just copy and paste this. This is the most cruddy way you've ever seen stats being done, all right? P&L, whatever. This is the cruddy way. You've never seen a trading mentor do this. This is how I do it. All right, so there's probably a better way. Let me know. Let me make that smaller. This is the cruddy way, man. Going to be green arrows for wins, okay? And then red ones for L's. So deal with it. Bop. Cruddiest way in the world. Funny. Okay. Break even, we can call it blue. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wins, 32 RR. All right? 10, 11. 11 RR. Okay? Now does that make more sense to you? Do you understand that now? So the 1-to-1s, right, the RRs is fucking 32 out of the from the 3rd of November to now. And there's only 11 RR. So that's 11 1-to-1 losses. So there we go. I hope this put it into perspective though. The NASDAQ is still moving nicely. If we was to stick to our 25 pip stops and just let the shit play, like I said, some of those were 1 to 5s. Go back, watch this in a bit or whatever. It makes me feel a little bit better about trading still. It makes me understand, no, the wins, even with a 25 pip stop when they look tight, are still fire. But the losses are there. The losses are there. 11 are okay, fair enough. 32. That's almost 3 times. That's almost 3 times. And I was being generous and humble, whatever. I was being humble with those RRs on the wins, because there was a lot more than fucking 1 to 3s there if we hold them. Trail the stop loss and shit. But let's just say we did go for 1 to 3s max, 1 to 2s, whatever. We're doubling it, man. We're killing it still. So we just got to focus. I haven't even tested US 30. I haven't done a 50 pip stop loss back test. There we go. 25 pip stops, that was. No 50s, no 40s, just sticking to 25. So yeah, you're going to be wicked out a lot. You're going to get some bad days, but as long as you understand when it does go in your favor and it doesn't wick you out, and you press that buy or sell button and it flat out just goes, it goes, all right? And it's hitting 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s. You just got to be very confident, not scared and hesitant. You just got to be like, fuck this, I'm here to do a job. Buy or sell, 2 losses per day, mind, because also take into account, these losses are all 2 losses per day. Now, if it says 1L, it's because the next trade was the winner. That's why it says 1L. If it says 2Ls, it's because there was 2 losses on that session, right? That's how it is overall from the 3rd of November, no matter how you look at it. 25 pip stop loss on NASDAQ has been working out fire. 32 RR, that's like triple the loss rate, right? So, bless. I'll catch you in the next one. Yeah, bless up, and I'll catch you in the next one.